I saw Cameron Wake get some 2023 love from PFF. As you can see here, he was ranked the third best undrafted free agent since 2006. And I was going to do a little short thing about it, but then as I started digging into it and my emotions started rising, I had to make something a little bit bigger because the guy deserves it. And, I talked to the old timers, the guys that saw the Camelot, the great era of the early 70s. And I really can't fully relate because it's, old film I saw or, statistics. I never really saw the guy and was the guys there and watched it through. I mean, I saw some of Zonka's second trip to the Dolphins at the end. I remember a play or two here. I think I remember one with him on the Giants where he fumbled the ball. I remember being part of the Bob Greasy fan club, and I got the signed picture with this big Coke bottle glass, which I thought were cool back then. But the 70s is basically a wash for really understanding them. The 80s is where my brain started coming online, and I started understanding a little bit more. You had the Woodley, Strzok, and then the transition to Dan Marino and Dwight Stevenson and the Blackwood brothers. And then in the 90s, you had Byers and my man, I love Brian Cox and Marino again, and Webb and Sims. And then you get to the late 90s and early 2000s, and you got, Madison and Bowens and Zach and Taylor. And then it really kind of becomes the dead zone. But that dead zone that passes over into Wake is something that Wake is a guy that everybody who's a Dolphins fan, except if you've been here for like 2 or 3 years or something, you can identify with. You saw him, whether you're the golden age or the new age. Cameron Wake was an oasis during the worst time that I can remember to be a Dolphins fan. And the guy was unbelievable. I remember this little scene here. When he jumped like that, I was just taken back. I got my Conan picture over here. As a little kid, all the way up until now, I always loved strong, male, heroic figures. They show me how to be with a character, and they push me physically. I always try to, get there, but you use that as the carrot in front of you to try to get to that next level, physically lifting weights or running or whatever. Cameron Wake was unbelievable as a person. I mean, he was a guy who was rejected by the NFL. Then he went up to the Canadian Football League, brought back by Parcells. I was a walk-on. I was like, oh, who is this guy? I'm so intrigued. He blew the doors open in Canadian Football League. And then I saw this. Maybe it was 2009, 2010. I can't remember exactly. But this had me. He had the personality, the humility. He had the intelligence. The guy, his character was unbelievable, super talented, and he looked like a Greek god. Unbelievable guy. So I'm going to do a little journey through him for folks to remember, to give him a little special shine in 2023, because I think everybody that's a Dolphins fan, and even if you're just a football fan or sports fan, you can enjoy this guy. You might be on this side of the Tua thing or that side of the Tua thing. You might be on this side we're doing it all in 23, or that side we're not doing nothing in 23. But I think we all, as a family, as Fin fans, can come together and say one thing. Cameron Wake is a great guy, great football player, and he was great feeling. He brought a great feeling during a time when it was terrible for us. So I want to give you guys a shout out. Shout out to Ace Bread, my sponsor, because without the two of you, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. Cameron Wake, I'm going to go through his career. You listen to him talk, and it's, there's nothing about this guy that you can shake a stick at. And that is so great. Football is a sport. You're supposed to enjoy it. I know we say they're not role models anymore, but when you get those kind of guys that are the role model for being a person, a man, and then they're awesome as a football player, it's so good. It feels good. And you go look at this guy's career. You can see here, put out the image. You know, he came out 2009, missed the playoff game, but came in 5.5 sacks, only, 14 games. It was a little bit of shine. You're like, okay, you saw some stuff there. But that 2010 season, 4 pass defense, 3 forced fumbles, 14 sacks, 21 tackles for loss, and 26 QB hits. All-Pro, Pro Bowl. That was his come-out, breakout year, and we were all smiling. We were all ecstatic that we had gotten this guy. And then 2011 was a solid season. Missed 2 games, a little ding there. 2012, and 15 sacks, 33 QB hits, no All-Pro, 33 QB. This guy was tormenting quarterbacks that season. Just you add that's 48 times he disrupted a quarterback physically. Unbelievable season. 2013 was another good season. Not up to, his usual levels that we had seen. 2014 was another really good season, 11.5, 22 hits. That's another 33.5 physical screw jobs on the quarterback. And then it was the disaster the next year. He was on a tear. You could see here, only 7 games and 7 sacks. He was ready to tear it open. And when that Achilles went on him, I felt sick to my stomach. It was like somebody went up to one of those old, beautiful, like muscle cars, the Charger, the old Mustang, this beautiful thing, just walked up to it with a baseball bat and smashed it. And it was horrible to see that. I didn't know if he was coming back. It shades of the Marino effect. And this guy was like everything to us at that stage. A great guy, just a perfect human physical specimen. And to see that happen was disgusting. It bothered me. And again, like Marino, though, he bounced back. 2016, 11.5 sacks, 24 QB hits. That's 35.5 screw jobs of the quarterback, which I loved. Comeback player of the year, All-Pro, Pro Bowl. And it was an unbelievable. Then again, 2017, 11.5 and 27. That was 37.5 hits on the quarterback. But then there was the substantial drop in 2018. Then he went to the Titans in 2019. And you see here that 2.5 sacks. It really didn't register to me too much. But as I went back, I realized I am so glad. I wanted him to retire at that stage. I didn't want him to go to the Titans. But you know what? Those 2.5 sacks got him to over 100. And that is awesome. This guy deserved it. I mean, you go back and you realize that this guy had an 11-year career, played with very little around him, missed 2 critical early years for him to be in the NFL, and he still registered 100.5 sacks. And, it sucked that he had just that one playoff game against Pitt, had 1 QB hit. I think he had like 6 tackles. Nothing super spectacular. Shame he didn't get more. The guy was so unbelievable. And we are lucky to have him be a Dolphin. We're lucky to have found him to be at least some high point in a garbage period. So I just wanted to give this little memory lane. I'm going to end off with a little film of his and have the great Cameron Wake close it out with his own words. To me, exemplifies who this guy was. He was so special, so many big plays. So remember 2013, Halloween, and he unbelievably had this amazing play. He almost got to the quarterback. Then this.
9-20. They got to be able to finish.
I figured, this is probably going to be one of the last plays of the game.
one more play.
Sack! Safety! The Dolphins win the football game!
Wade said good night to the Bengals.
That game is literally one where you had to fight a little extra. You had to go deep. When you say you're going to get something done, you have to get it done.
A wild night in South Florida.
Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.